Guys, welcome back
Hi
to another
guys.
episode of Girls Gone Mellow.
Girls Gone Mellow here. Hello.
So how you
So,
been, Tatiana?
I've been good. I've
Yeah.
been good, but with everything going on, it's just sad. It's been a tough week
Oh
for
yeah,
LA County, you
yeah. No,
know?
it's been a really tough one for them.
Mhm.
Like disaster after disaster, fire
Mhm.
after fire. So
Yeah.
our prayers go out to those
No,
people out there who have
definitely.
been affected by it, um, and to all those families and those who lost their homes.
Mhm. It's really
Just can't
sad.
imagine like
Their
the.
history behind it and
Mhm.
um super sad. But one thing I saw on Instagram, actually today I woke up and saw it.
Mhm.
It's it's amazing to me that so I guess there was one in Malibu,
Mhm.
and like everything was burnt except a cross at the top of the hill,
Mhm.
and there was a pathway clearly right to it that wasn't burnt at all. So I think, you know God's still over us.
Yeah.
He's here, he's
Yeah, no,
watching, he's
definitely.
you
I've
know
seen a like just yeah, just like you mentioned, I've seen a lot of stories like that where like
mhm.
these houses are burning down and people who have, um
Like a Bible,
yeah,
like a Bible that doesn't
uh
get burnt at all.
yeah, who have like a cross or like the statues, monuments of like,
Mhm.
what represents faith in God. A lot of them are not burning down, and yeah, you can see, you can like see how powerful the love of God and
Yes.
protection.
Yes.
Like when you have faith and when you have, um, you know. When you're a person of faith and you deposit everything, like everything can be falling apart. I'm sure like these people were like, so there were, whatever happens
Yeah.
happens. My house is burning down, but like as long as like my family, myself, were good, like
You're
God,
safe. Yep.
God
God's
protecting us,
protecting them. Mhm.
so like yeah, you can see in those type of situations or in those homes where faith was practiced, you can tell, you were
Yeah.
able to witness some of this, powerful testimony. So
Yeah.
it's pretty
It's
incredible.
amazing. No,
I
it's
Yeah, I
beautiful.
was
It's
like, oh my
amazing.
God,
It's
he's
it's
still alive,
sad,
he's
but
he's here with us.
yes, yeah, he definitely is.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
like I said, a prayer goes out to
Everybody who's
everybody out
suffering, and
there
the
who's,
animals,
yeah,
everyone
yeah,
doesn't
so
have a home right now.
yeah.
It's sad.
But
And then even the whole like electricity going out this week too for some people. Like that's tough.
yeah, like your neighborhood, huh?
Yeah, mine we got it.
Like,
It's
yeah.
tough. Some people didn't have it for like 3 days straight.
Mm-hmm.
So it's sad.
So when you live in the hood, it's always going
It's,
to it's
see? Now
it's
I
a,
understand you.
it's always an issue.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Electricity and water.
Yeah.
But overall, like I said, we're.
It just makes you feel more like you need to be more aware. You need to be more prepared,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah, for
'Cause you
sure.
don't know what could
Yeah.
happen.
No, yeah.
So,
For us, we do. We have like big gallons of water outside and everything. What
see?
a disaster. So I
Yeah.
might say, when you're from the hood, you have to be prepared.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They're constantly cutting you electricity and water, so you gotta buckle down and
She's in the hood,
it's the
guys.
instincts now. It's know what to do, survival mode.
Exactly,
But
exactly.
like you said, yeah, like overall grateful and thankful that
I know we're still here.
we're still
We're
here.
here,
Our homes are
and
intact. Nothing
yeah.
has happened, but um,
Mhm.
you know,
What are we gonna talk about?
our topic of conversation, Tatiana,
The
gym
gym and
drama,
faith.
gym and faith. Yeah,
Gym
it
and
goes
faith.
back to faith.
Yeah.
So
So
Tatiana and I were at the gym.
this
When was it?
week,
This
this
week?
week,
No,
I
it was
forget what
next
day.
week. It was
Next
last week. I mean, next week. It was
last
like
week.
it was last
So
week.
last week we went to the gym. We were working out, getting some gains. Some
Scrawny
muscles.
comes out like SpongeBob. You
I
know when
know.
like he's trying to build muscle and it's like
Yeah, he's blowing
deflated,
up the house.
deflated and stuff.
Um
I
no,
think
but
no, but look, I think I honestly, I think I before, like I think when you were in like your like your early teens, because I've always been like a active person, always play sports throughout like my
Mhm.
teens. I think like, and then you get to a point, like I got to a point where like the gym was like a place of growth for me.
Like
But
everything to
now
you,
that I'm
yeah.
like I'm in my 30, I'm like I don't really care to gain anything. Like I just want my body to
To be in
move,
shape,
to
be
be,
healthy.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I
Yeah.
really don't care for any growth. Like I honestly, as long as I'm able to move
Mhm.
and my body is moving and it's
Function.
functioning, like
Yeah.
I'm blessed. I'm
Yeah,
okay,
no,
So
exactly. That's how it should be.
that's like that type of mentality I go into the
Mhm.
gym, because I think like that's a lot, like a lot of the times, especially nowadays, that there's
I
a
feel like
lot
there's
of,
so much pressure
yeah, like to
like
look
in
good
there
and
to,
be good.
yes, like you have to look a certain way, be a certain way, and it shouldn't be like that at all. And
Yeah.
it's, and then that's, I feel like most of the time people, they get a little bit like uncomfortable going. Like for me, I mean, I get uncomfortable going a little
Hmm.
bit. And I think a lot of it has to do with like that, like the pressure of like, oh, I need to know what to do, or like, you know?
Yeah, no, yeah, right. And then you're having a lot of like people, I think nowadays there's no modesty in the gym either. So you have a lot of people who are like literally walking like half naked,
Naked.
like come on. So
I
no,
know.
like I said, yeah, like I feel like once, like you have to like implement that like state of mind, and that set
Mhm.
yourself like, hey, I'm going to the gym, but like I eliminate all distractions and I'm just
Yes.
there to move my body. I'm
Yeah.
not even there to like look at so and so, if like she's
Mhm.
standing better than I physically, whatever. Like I said, I think that when as you grow older, like looking a certain way, like it doesn't even matter. It
Yeah.
doesn't even matter.
No, it
Like that's
doesn't.
not your goal anymore.
Mhm.
um but yeah, it's a lot of competition out there,
No,
when it comes
definitely.
to like being physically like, you know
Fit.
fit,
Yeah.
and being physically attractive. And
Mhm.
it's sad, but it's
It's
reality we live in.
reality. It's where we're at right now in
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
So it's crazy, but no, we were there.
Mm-hmm.
And I've started my my set, and then I overheard these girls, and you
It's
know
two
how
girls,
like,
right?
yeah, these two girls, friends, and you know how like when you're just you're focusing on you, but then you kind of hear that one thing that just makes you
Like
like listen
intrigued,
in,
yeah.
intrigued, and gravitate to that. So like I started overhearing their conversation, and I I heard the girl say God needs to be priority. So
So
that's,
one of the friends
yeah,
said,
one of the friends. So that's what really like, oh, like what is she talking about,
yeah,
you know?
because we're faith
Yeah,
driven women, so
exactly.
yeah.
So and mind you, like I'm not one to judge, but like these girls didn't look like they were even, like church involved
Yeah.
and all
uh
that, you know?
practicing in
Yes,
faith, yeah.
exactly. So when I heard that, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So she was telling her friend, she's trying to give some advice and tell her that the guy she's with should be centered around God.
Right.
That when you have
Mm-hmm.
him in your relationship, that God's going to be in that relationship,
Right.
and it's going
Right.
to flourish. It's going to um be 10 times, 100 times, anytime better,
Mm-hmm.
to be in a relationship that is a foundation around God. So she was trying to explain that to her friend, and her friend just stayed quiet, and she was just like, oh yeah, like okay. And then she just was like, well, I want to continue working out. And I was like,
Totally ignore her.
yeah, I was like, what? She just totally ignored her. She
Mm-hmm.
was like, she's like, I know. Oh, the friend was like, you're so into church. That's what she had told her. You're
Mm-hmm.
so into church. And she's like, well, yeah, God is everything to me. Faith is everything to me. I like going to church. And then she's like, okay, well, I just want to continue working out. And then
Totally disregard.
just totally disregarded her message. And she just was like, I want to get let's get bigger boobs and butt.
So she was, it shows you like two
It
different perspectives.
Yes,
No,
of
what's the
people,
yeah,
like, you have one centered around faith, and then you have the other that is in a
it's
total different pathway,
a different
mindset,
mindset.
than her. And it made me feel sad. I was like, this girl is trying to give some nice, clear,
Mm-hmm.
godly advice,
Right.
and then you have this other girl that's like, forget about what you have to say. And it just made me feel so bad for her. I kind of wanted to speak up, and I should have. I should
Mm-hmm.
have,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't, because I was in. We were in our
We
own.
were in our own bubble, but
Yeah.
no, like you're right. Like it's you have two different mindsets, two different, and that's the
Views.
yeah, two different views, and that's the world we live in. Like we have like the egocentric, selfish individuals who like they only care for themselves and
Mm-hmm.
they are only for themselves, and then you have those people that are like I say practicing practicing a religion, and even if they're not practicing a religion or they do not identify like
They're
don't
they're
you don't
trying
know
to be kind,
yeah
though.
yeah no
Kindness.
for sure, but they still they have faith in God, but they're
Mm-hmm.
like I'm not neither a Christian, I'm not either a Catholic, I'm not either uh what's it called a Seventh Adventist, or
Mm-hmm.
like they're not practicing a religion, but they have a religion with God. So you have two different perspectives going there.
Yeah.
um but it's sad, it's sad to see the downfall of the people that are self-centered,
Mm-hmm.
that don't have God in their
In
lives,
their
who
hearts,
do not
they're.
practice, uh, do not practice or not wanting to get closer to God, because that's what eventually that's what the friend was doing. The
Yeah,
friend
no, it's
was
selfish. It's
yeah.
selfish behavior, because all you're worried about is your body,
Hmm.
yourself.
Yeah.
That's all you're worried about. And someone is trying to give love and compassion to bring that into,
Yeah.
your relationship, give you advice on your relationship with your man, your person. And so it's just so sad to see that you have these like split
Hmm.
like identities, like the way they are. And
Yeah.
it's like, how I wonder how that girl felt, because I'm sure if I were her and trying to give advice and I was just shrugged off, I would have been a little upset. Like, come on
Hmm.
now, at least respect it,
Right. Right.
like at
Instead
least.
of like going on the opposite and just caring about how you physically look,
Mm-hmm.
like making those comments.
Yeah.
But yeah, and like I was I think it's very important with what type of people you connect and
Mm-hmm. Associate with.
yeah, associate, familiarize yourself with. In her case, like I feel like if, for example, if like you and I think that's why we get along so well, because we have so many things in common. And I feel like if you were not a person of faith and you're like, oh well, I don't believe in God,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm into the desires of the world and what the world, what society is giving me, and what your head is so into the gutter,
Mm-hmm.
I would have been like, no, like Tatiana, you and I cannot be friends.
Yeah.
Because like I'm a practicing individual and I want to take that route and I want to get closer to God. And if you're going to stop me from, from that, then
Yeah,
I don't
I'm not
want it.
allowing you to do that
Yeah.
and to follow those rules, because then I'm implementing stuff that I believe on you. And it's like you're not getting that, like that faith driven
Mhm.
relationship that
Mhm.
you need.
Mhm.
Just the relationship that you need to flourish into your life, and to
Mhm.
go about your day.
Right.
You're
Right.
getting stuff, behaviors that aren't good,
Right.
that aren't of good.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what I said. Like I think that it, involving yourself with the right person, with the
Mm-hmm.
right crowd, it can either make you flourish or it can like totally,
And stir you into the
yeah,
wrong direction.
yeah, it can just
Yeah.
cause it can impact your life in a positive or negative way.
Mhm.
So like you choose, you choose who you want to associate with.
I
For like
agree.
for myself, like I said, if I'm a person that, you know, that I want to continue to grow in God's, you know, in God's faith, and continue to have a relationship with God, why am I gonna, bring in people who are gonna affect that, you know,
Yeah.
who are gonna
Yeah.
impact that? Like I don't want it. Like
Yeah.
that's just pollution to the
To your yes.
environment and I'm trying to create. Like
Yeah.
no, like I don't want friends who are here that are selfish, that just egocentric, like it's all about me. I don't want friends who like walking like half naked, drinking and doing like
Mhm.
no. Like I said, if like it's cool. Like I'm not saying like um
That those people
or
are
bad.
bad.
Yeah.
No, it's not that. It's just the fact of that they don't your views don't align with their views,
Hmm.
and right there it's already cut.
Cut the line.
It's
Yeah.
already cut because I feel like you can't have like a good relationship with those people if you're not on the same page with them. You're
Yeah.
always going to be disagreeing with
Hmm.
them, you know?
For
There's always
sure.
going to be disagreements.
For sure. So yeah, I mean, like I said, I honestly, like, if I were the friend, I would have probably reconsidered my relationship with her.
Yeah.
I can see, if you meet someone and like like you met someone, a friend, and this friend was not, was not a person of faith, or was did not have a prior relationship with God until you met him or her, whatever.
Mhm.
But they're willing to get closer to God, not
Mhm.
shutting down your comments, not shutting down
Or
your
just the
conversation.
fact of respecting your comments,
Right.
like just validating your comment
Right.
and being like, "Okay, I understand. I hear
Hmm.
you. Yeah, I'll think about that." And just leaving it as that, not, well, let's just get back into this.
you know
I don't care about what you have to say.
yeah.
You know?
No, for
Those
sure.
are two different answers.
Yeah. No, like I said, I don't know, honestly, like I would have cut ties.
And I
Like
think it's
that's just.
also hard when maybe those girls were friends for they grew up together.
Mhm.
Like we don't know their situation, but I think it's hard when you have that friend that you grew up with and maybe like yeah, you're trying to, like you guys both go into different paths, but then you reconnect and it's like you want that relationship with them again. I think that's also like a little
Yeah.
hard
Yeah. Like
because
I
you're trying
said,
to build that with them,
yeah.
but if it all comes down to your views, your values, and what you want to
Yeah.
value,
Yeah.
what's right and what's wrong.
Exactly. Yeah, well, I mean, it can be a friendship or a romantic
Hmm.
a friendship or a romantic relationship,
Yeah, yeah,
it can
very
go
true.
away. Like I said, and I go back to like the times we're living. You're seeing all this chaos going on around the world, where LA is like burning, like
Mhm.
crazy, and
Mhm.
then you're seeing, things that are stated in the Bible come to life, and you're like, damn, like this is the time where we need to repent and get closer to God.
Mhm.
This is where we get more drawn to Him. So I think at this level of my life, I'm talking, this is my opinion, and like how I feel towards it. I feel like there's no time to waste. It's not like, oh, like, I don't know if I don't know if I should continue to
Should or
follow God, or
shouldn't.
I should.
Yeah.
No, this is make up your mind. You're either cold or you're either hot.
Yeah.
You know, there's
Yeah.
no in between. God doesn't want a in between person. Either you're
Exactly.
with Him or
Or
you're
you're
not.
not.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so like friends that don't serve you any purpose, nowadays are not gonna get you to Him, closer to Him.
Mhm. Distance
Bye.
yourself.
Yeah. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah.
That's it.
I
That's
feel
a
like
short.
I've done that. Like I've definitely done that.
Hmm.
I've distanced myself from people who, like I see the way they're going, their path, and I'm just like, like I'm kind of in this path right now. Like we need to separate ourselves a little bit,
Right. Hmm.
and like just distance ourselves just to, you're an acquaintance. You're like, I'll still say hi to you, and I'm kind, I'm compassionate,
Right.
I'm loving. I hope and wish you the best,
Right.
but I need to distance myself from
Yeah.
that person, you
Exactly.
know? You can't always just try to hold that relationship with that someone when it's not working.
Yeah, it's not beneficial. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, like I said, it was a pretty interesting. When Tatiana was telling me, I was like, wow,
I
like I
know.
would have just bye that day.
Drop the weight. I'm leaving.
I'm like, work
I know.
work out by yourself. I
I
don't
know
need
it
this.
was rude. I was
Uh,
like, that was a little rude.
yeah.
I wanted to turn around and be like, "Hey, girl, I heard your message.
Mhm.
Like, I heard your message. Thank you for sharing that message.
Right.
Because you know what? Sometimes that message needs to go to other people.
Mhm.
It it sometimes maybe someone else needs to hear that.
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Exactly. Um.
So
But
I
yeah,
felt
like
terrible for that.
poor. I mean, like I said, we don't know her. Maybe after the conversation with
They talked about
they
it a
talked
little
about
more,
it, and
maybe
maybe
when.
she changed her heart, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Hopefully, like, God bless her, and hopefully, like, that's the case, where
Yeah.
she starts getting all that pollution out of her head and
Yeah.
starts
Yeah.
renewing her heart and her mind. So yeah,
Mhm.
God
But
working on her.
no, that's definitely it's a good topic to touch on cuz I feel like you don't hear that a lot, you know?
No, yeah, definitely not. So yeah, but that was a topic of
That
conversation
was
of
it
this week.
today. Uh-huh.
Friends in faith, people, surround yourself with people who have the same goals and mentality as you, and always a
Mhm.
progression, never a setback, always a progression.
Yes.
I think that, like I said, if having a relationship with God will never be a negative, will always be a
A
positive.
positive.
And if someone's inviting you to a conversation with God and wanting you to meet God and want you to build that relationship with God,
Like, don't be afraid
don't
to
feel, yeah,
gravitate to it.
right,
Don't be afraid because it's only going to benefit you.
yeah, yeah, in the
There's
long
all
run,
good that comes from it.
yeah, yeah. So like I said, it was a pretty a good story to
Yeah.
talk about, a
Yeah,
good
no,
topic of
definitely.
conversation. But
Good job, Nancy.
I'm like, I was in the being the nosy one.
That was me.
That was Tatiana poking her ear on the other
Yeah, it
conversation. No, but
was.
like I said, it needs to be like spoken about.
Yeah, no,
So
it
I
does.
mean, I don't
Shared,
blame you. Yeah,
yeah.
share it. But yeah, but we're going into the positives or negatives of your week. Like any positive or
Oh.
negative out of your week. You
Okay,
can
you first. What was
you can
yours?
get to it. I had a lot of positive after like some long weeks of getting sick, like back
Mm-hmm.
to back to back. I finally like felt good this week. I think that like with all these things going on and like chaotic, like, so it's just a noisy
Mm-hmm.
world nowadays. I always, like I said, I shared the table with my family. We had dinner, so I think like that's like, for me, that's always gonna be a positive, and it's always a blessing that I get to share the table with like my family completely, because um like I said, a lot of people don't have,
They don't get that.
they don't get that. They're not fortunate enough, they either
Yeah.
lost, a sister, a brother, or a mom, dad. And so like I'm very blessed in that sense that I still have, my core, the core of my life, and that's my family. So being able to like take in those moments, like I get
Mm-hmm.
to sit down and eat with you guys, and I get to appreciate that, like that will always be a positive. But yesterday, it was pretty interesting because I went down to Mexicali to for my dental work and stuff. And then coming back, I stopped like at a Chick-fil-A because I was like
Mm-hmm.
hungry. But so I get there and I order whatever. I sat down and I was eating. So I was eating my food. Usually when I eat my food, I don't like to be on my phone. I just
Mm-hmm.
like to enjoy my food and just observe the surroundings. Not that I'm paranoid and stuff, but like I just like to be very observant of like what's
Yeah,
going on and eating my food.
that
Really
makes
get to
sense.
enjoy my food. And there was this older man in front of me, and one of the workers comes, and then he starts talking to him. So they start talking like back and forth, and it's a conversation about, I'm saying this men were probably in their 60s, like late 60s,
Mhm.
early 70s. They were pretty older men, and they were talking about God, and they were
Wow.
talking about how, like, now society, young generations, it's like, it's really hard for them to, like, I guess they were comparing like their grow them growing up, people of faith, and nowadays. But I guess like one of them was a pastor, and he was just saying like,
Oh
oh, like I have
wow.
a youth group, and I get
Mhm.
to, talk to them, and I get to encourage them. So it's like we can only be leaders, we can only, show these people what God wants from
Mhm.
us and stuff. So I think that was a pretty positive note from yesterday, because I'm like, that's pretty nice. You get to sit down
Yeah.
at a restaurant, and you get to hear a positive conversation. So
That
I'm like,
yeah.
that was
Oh,
pretty
that's
nice.
nice.
Yeah. So that was my positive, my highlight for from yesterday.
Well, I think for me this week was a little negative.
Negative, it's
It
okay, we
was
have
a little
positives and negative.
negative. It was
It's
a
a
little
roller
negative
coaster.
just because of the electricity going out
Hmm.
and me having to figure out what I'm gonna do and this and that.
Right.
So that would have to be negative, but I think the positive side would be that I'm still here. That I'm still here. I still have my electricity, even though I complained a little bit.
Complain too much.
But I am grateful that like I I see that when I didn't have my electricity, I see how it was, and it makes me feel heartbroken
Hmm.
for the people that like they don't have electricity.
Yeah.
Like it's sad
Yeah,
cuz
and it's not only here in the states,
no,
who
it's
are, it's
everywhere.
everywhere in the world.
It's everywhere,
Think
and it
about.
so it makes me sad that it's like wow, like I lived without electricity for like almost like I think it was like 2 days. Uh, well, I was at work for one of the days. But we didn't have electricity here, and I'm complaining, and there's people who don't have electricity at all.
Yeah, yeah,
You
most of their
know
lives, or their entire lives. you
exactly,
know kids, families that live in like rural areas, that they don't have what you have. And
exactly.
you
So it
know
made me sit there, and I gathered my thoughts, and I was just like, wow. That I was like, this is sad. Like, I need to stop. I need to stop complaining and just,
be
be
grateful.
grateful that I'm even in a home.
Right.
So I don't know if that's negative or positive, but
Hmm.
I'm just grateful to be here.
Right.
So
No,
that
as
was
it
my
should.
week. It made me, it made me open my eyes.
Yeah, no, that's good, and that's maturity. That's,
Mhm.
I think that a lot of people don't have the maturity to realize, being able to tell yourself like, I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for that. There's still people out there who are ungrateful, who have it all, and they take it for
Exactly.
granted.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah. It
don't
all
don't take
gets
it,
taken for
don't take
granted.
it. I mean, a big, like I said, a big lesson that we can all learn from these fires going on is, um how everything can just be stripped out of you like that,
Mhm.
like that.
Like you'll have
Look
it
at,
all, and then one day you won't have anything.
yeah, let's look
It's
at those,
sad.
like a lot of like celebrities lost their homes and
Mhm.
stuff, and these are multi-million-dollar homes,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm not saying a lot of them are not like faith driven, whatever, but it's like, what are we doing? Like, as a society, what are we doing? We're so
Why do we
focused
make
on the
that so
pleasures of life,
important?
like big houses.
Big houses, money, cars, um, being popular, being skinny, being why?
Yeah, no, for
Why
sure.
is that a focus?
Yeah, so like
You
I said,
know?
be grateful for the smallest little things, because maybe later on, in a split of a second, everything can be stripped out of your
Mhm.
hands.
Mhm.
And so
I
that's why I
agree.
say it's good that that losing your electricity
It
for
made
today,
me realize
it taught you a lesson.
it did.
But yeah, and I
I was
mean, it
like,
goes for all.
wow.
I learn
Yeah.
lessons every day. For, like I said, I'm grateful to be here, grateful to
Mhm.
you share
have
moments,
family, have
right?
my family around, my friends, you
Yeah,
know, like mm,
knuckleheads,
I know.
dummy
I can
friends.
still laugh about it, so you know.
Yeah, I know, but like
Like
I said, it should serve all these things that's going on nowadays should serve as a lesson to better
mhm.
ourselves. We don't know
Yeah.
what the future holds for all of us.
Yes, exactly.
So
Be
just
prepared mentally, faithfully.
yeah,
Be prepared.
yeah. But
Yeah.
that was it for this week's topic of
Yes. So we
conversation.
hope you guys enjoyed. Please like, subscribe, share
Until
everything.
next time, peace.
Bye.